It's been really good. Looking back at the first part of the year, I think I have a lot of positives to take away. Of course, the atmosphere in each tournament has been amazing.
Have you ever seen the sideline become the main event? Alex Eala's Miami Open practice sessions are outdrawing the championship matches, drawing fans from every corner and dominating social media feeds worldwide. Sponsors, commentators, and fellow players are all watching the phenomenon unfold in real time. Could a 20-year-old's charisma and sheer energy truly overshadow the reigning stars? And is this the moment tennis loses its traditional hierarchy forever?
Filipino tennis sensation Alex Eala is attracting dozens of fans, even during her practice sessions in California. Social media posts have shown Eala practicing to a backdrop of many supporters. Fans are trying to catch a glimpse of the Filipino tennis ace even before the tournament starts. Eala gamely signed autograph requests after her practice sessions. She is seated 31st in the Indian Wells Open.
Can't get enough of Alex Eala? Subscribe today and follow every swing, just when you think the Miami Open is about to settle into its usual rhythm. With fans queued for the finals and cameras fixed on the champions, an entirely different story begins to unfold on the practice courts.
Was it the best women's 1,000 final, the second best one of the decade, I think Vanch described it as? And Vanch was like, and Christian's Court put out a tweet which was something along the lines of, he said like the number of winners to unforced errors that Rebecca achieved. And also she won 70% of her second serves. And his take was like, that shows you just how good this final was. But watching it, I found Sabalenka's movement seemed to be limited in the first couple of sets. Partly, I think, because of the heat, and I think it affected both players at times in those early stages.
After Elena Rybakinis' breakthrough win over Aryna Sabalenka to claim her first WTA 1000 title, most would expect the spotlight to stay on the finals, the grandeur, and the trophies. Instead, an unexpected phenomenon is grabbing the headlines. Alex Eala.
All right, so we're in the middle of watching the Indian Wells Finals, and we get some big news because Miami starts in couple of days, really. The draw's coming out over the next couple of days, but some big names are pulled out of Miami. One big name in particular, so let's go have a look at who's withdrawn.
Somehow, a 20-year-old seed 32 player has flipped the tennis world on its head, drawing larger crowds to her practice sessions than the finals themselves, and sparking a wave of global fascination that the WTA never saw coming.
The special stop at Nike.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What was that welcome like at Nike?
It was incredible. I'd only heard how amazing it was, the Nike headquarters in Portland, and it really lives up to the hype. No, ang laki-laki. It's so big and so impressive, and they were so welcoming. So I think it was a really great experience for me to see how things come to life, where the ideas sprout, and yeah, an amazing experience.
Any new collabs gonna come out of that? New social media stuff?
Not that I know of. No.
Alright, Steve,
For you, Craig, because looking back 4 years ago, Rancho Santa Fe, you did really well. That was just right after the U.S. Open when you won. All right, how do you feel you've evolved in those 5 years? I feel you've been going back and forth a lot since then.
Yes, it's been a while.
As the Miami Open ramps up, whispers from the grounds suggest that something extraordinary is happening. Fans aren't merely curious, they're obsessed. Reports indicate that thousands are skipping marquee matches just to witness the precision, intensity, and charisma of Alex Eala in training. Even at unconventional hours, when the sun beats down or when sessions stretch late into the evening, spectators are filling every available vantage point. The scale is remarkable, rivaling what you'd expect for Novak Djokovic or Venus Williams, yet here it is, centered on a rising star who has, until recently, hovered just outside mainstream awareness. Inside the WTA offices, there's palpable tension. Marketing plans built around established champions are suddenly being upended as the audience itself dictates a new hierarchy of attention. While the tour had envisioned the finals as the apex of viewership, the real story is happening on a small practice court where the energy is electric and the fans are relentless. Officials have reportedly had to bring in extra security to manage the sheer volume of spectators, a testament to Eala's unexpected gravitational pull, her behind-the-scenes and day in the life. Videos are surpassing 90,000 views in record time, igniting conversations across the tennis community about the rising influence of a player who, on paper, should still be fighting for attention.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how Alex deals with that as well. I also think that Alex, we've often see her come up against huge ball strikers like Yastremska, who end up just not being... And that's a fun matchup as well, because eventually Alex frustrates them. And by the way, Alex, let's not forget, has her own weapons as well, especially on return. And that's a fun thing. What isn't fun is when Alex plays a Noskova or a Goff in the form that Goff was in the Middle East in particular, where they have that margin.
What makes this surge so intriguing isn't just the numbers, it's the nature of her connection with fans. Alex is no longer a mere competitor. She is evolving into a tennis personality with the kind of charisma that inspires loyalty, excitement, and, increasingly, commercial interest. Her fan base, affectionately known as the Pine Army, has become a force unto itself, amplifying every movement, every practice, every social media post. Global attention is following, from Asia to Europe, each new follower further solidifying her role as a breakout figure in women's tennis. Analysts have begun drawing comparisons between her marketability and that of Emma Raducanu, noting how charisma, authenticity, and global visibility can accelerate a young athlete's commercial trajectory even before she cracks the top 20 rankings. Her performance at the Indian Wells Open, reaching the round of 16 and earning over $15,000 in prize money, represents only a fraction of the broader financial opportunities her growing profile is generating. Even within the locker room, her rising presence is impossible to overlook. Players and staff alike have noted the dramatic shift in focus, with traditional hierarchies of attention being challenged. What was once considered secondary, the routines, the warm-ups, the behind-the-scenes preparation, is now capturing the imagination of a global audience.
All announced. And on the men's side, are there any more left out there? What was the decision making there?
And no more. I know it looks weird because, actually we were one of the first tournaments to have equal pay, and we're all about, equality and everything. And we still have equal pay, but there's more wildcards on the women's side than there are for the men's side. That's just a tour issue. WTA allows us to have more wildcards, and we're able to give some of the great champions of our sport on the women's side, and Venus and Sloane and others coming back from injury, and Brady and Kruger, and then some of the younger players. Men's side, it's a lot more of the young. We went with youth, a couple of young Americans in Dam and Blanche.
And as Ella's commercial profile grows alongside her on-court performance, tournaments are forced to reevaluate priorities, considering larger court placements, primetime scheduling, and broader promotion to accommodate an audience that clearly wants more. Analysts argue that this is not just a passing curiosity, but a potential blueprint for the modern athlete. Visibility, engagement, and authenticity can now rival even ranking points in shaping careers. Ella's social media influence and global recognition position her as a modern figure in tennis, someone who can move audiences beyond the court and transform traditional tournament structures. The energy is already proving unstoppable. The loyalty and enthusiasm of the Pine Army illustrate that Alex's impact is not merely numerical, it's cultural, emotional, and global. As the Miami Open progresses, the stakes for Ella are higher than ever. Defending her ranking points from previous deep runs, she has the opportunity to break into the top 20, potentially marking a historic milestone for Philippine tennis. The draw itself offers strategic advantages, giving her additional preparation time while others battle through early rounds. Observers are watching closely, anticipating both her performance and the ripple effects of her growing popularity.
We've got this great perch up here, Tommy. So we've seen the record crowds. I mean, so many fans here over the weekend, every single day. It's been packed for players like Alex Eala, Joao Fonseca, seeing the Filipino fans, the Brazilian fans. Have you ever seen anything like that in terms of their commitment to those players?
No, but that's fantastic to see, right? It's all about the growth and the evolving in the tennis world. You know, it's such a global sport. So seeing that, and even watching Fonseca last night against Sinner, which was, you know, maybe the best hitting match so far of the tournament on the men's side, and seeing the Brazilian fans. I mean, that's what you kind of want. You know, you want that new atmosphere. Same for Eala, having all the Philippine fans from coming, you know, to support her. It's
Beyond rankings, however, Alex is already transforming the narrative of the tour. Fan energy, sponsorship momentum, and international visibility are converging to create a phenomenon rarely seen outside established superstars. Tournament directors, organizers, and analysts are grappling with a new reality. In the digital era, personality and connection often dictate attention just as much as titles and trophies. Ella embodies this shift, turning routine appearances into events and drawing attention that rivals marquee matches. Every tournament moment she touches becomes amplified. Practice courts turn into informal fan arenas, casual drills attract thousands, and online content sparks global discussion. The Miami Open has witnessed a rare cultural moment, a rising player whose practice sessions, personality, and global engagement are changing the way fans consume tennis. For the WTA, it's a reminder that in a modern, digitally connected world, the game is about more than scores. It's about stories, influence, and the unpredictable magic of a player who captivates the imagination long before the trophies are lifted.
I think my experiences here and my matches here have really meant a lot for me. I think I've been able to bring out a certain level and dig really deep both times. In all circumstances, even tonight, I was able. It's a learning experience for me. It means a lot to have these experiences, even though I wouldn't consider today's match a positive experience for me. But down the line, I believe it will have a positive impact on my progression as a player.
The fascinating part of Alex Eala's rise isn't just the raw numbers. It's the way she's reshaping how tennis fans think about the sport itself. The old model relied heavily on ranking points, Grand Slam titles, and the predictable rise of established stars. But Alex is proving that fan engagement and personality can, in a single tournament, shift the spotlight away from the expected winners. It's almost poetic. The Miami Open, a tournament designed to showcase the best of the best, suddenly finds itself hijacked by a 20-year-old with a racket in her hand, a smile on her face, and a fan base that seems determined to rewrite the rules. Observers note that this isn't a fleeting moment of curiosity. Even casual fans who had never heard of her before are now flocking to streams, practice courts, and social media channels just to catch a glimpse of the rising star. The result is a self-perpetuating cycle. Attention generates engagement. Engagement amplifies visibility, and visibility draws more attention. Tournament officials are watching this phenomenon with a mix of awe and anxiety. The practice courts, once considered secondary spaces where players could warm up and refine their strategies in relative privacy, are now the epicenter of fan activity. Reports from March 15, 2026, indicate that security personnel are struggling to maintain order during Ella's sessions, with lines stretching for hundreds of meters, digital live streams being inundated with viewers, and even local authorities noting the sheer scale of the crowds.
Well, speaking of the young players, you have Joao Fonseca and Alex Eala. Are we going to see them only on center court out there?
Yes, harkening back to last year when I learned my lesson of Fonseca needs to be on stadium, and he will be, yes. And Eala, it's been quite a thrill ride for her this last year as well. I feel like last year at this event, it was a little bit of a coming out party where she had some great results coming from a wild card position as well. So I think the international interest in both of them is so high, and Miami being such a sort of a cultural melting pot with so many of the international so much of the international flavor here.
At a time when most professional tennis tournaments focus heavily on finals and headline matches, it's a jarring but undeniable reality. Alex Eala has become the unofficial main event. Meanwhile, her influence extends far beyond physical presence. Social media engagement is skyrocketing. In just a few hours, posts about her training have exceeded the viewership of full match highlights from top-seeded players. The metrics are astonishing. Hundreds of thousands of interactions across multiple platforms, global fan conversations, and trending topics that place Ella at the center of tennis discourse, rivaling major Grand Slam champions. Analysts who have long studied the dynamics of sports engagement are scrambling to interpret the data, with one senior commentator noting that we've never seen a player generate this level of interest outside of competition itself. Part of the explanation lies in her authenticity. Fans don't just watch her play, they feel a connection to her journey, clips showing her training, joking with coaches, or reflecting on previous matches feel personal, almost like invitations into her daily life. In an era when audiences crave connection as much as competition, Ella has mastered a kind of storytelling that goes far beyond traditional tennis narratives.
Supporting the next generation. Even Mboko, who's doing really, really well here as well. So it's like you see the next generation, the young generation, hyping up the tennis world, and that's what it's all about.
I want to ask you about this mixed doubles, because you guys have really thrown a lot of resources behind the mixed doubles. You have legends like Venus Williams deciding to play. What kind of prompted the emphasis on the mixed doubles for this year? And is that something that we're going to hopefully see grow in years to come?
Yes, I think it all really started with the tiebreak tens.
The WTA itself is starting to acknowledge this shift. Tournament directors are discussing potential adjustments, ranging from scheduling her for larger courts to creating promotional events around her appearances. Sponsorship discussions are no longer hypothetical. Major brands have taken notice of her rapidly growing profile, recognizing that the combination of talent, charisma, and a dedicated global fan base represents a new commercial frontier. Nike's Oregon headquarters, where she was recently featured in promotional spaces alongside legendary players, has become emblematic of this shift, signaling that Alex's trajectory is accelerating faster than many analysts initially predicted. While her rankings and seedings remain important, Ella's influence is increasingly measured in intangible yet powerful ways. Fan energy, social media amplification, and global recognition now play a role equal to points or titles. It's a subtle but fundamental change in how professional tennis is being consumed. Observers describe a scene more akin to a concert than a warm-up, crowds buzzing with excitement, fans chanting, cameras rolling, and energy levels that rival full stadium matches. For young supporters in particular, Alex represents inspiration. She embodies a bridge between aspiration and reality, a player who trains relentlessly yet remains accessible, who demonstrates professionalism but never sacrifices approachability.
Won a set off Ego on clay. I have no idea, but it happened somehow in a match I didn't see in Madrid. But yeah, that was wild. So Sigmund, by the way, I would love to see Sigmund against Eala.
Definitely would be interesting. Marathon match written all over it. How come? What excites you about that? Just out of curiosity.
A few things. I think Sigmund against almost anyone is semi-fun or can be very fun, but
this momentum naturally raises questions about the future. Will tournament organizers adjust schedules and court assignments to capitalize on her popularity? Will sponsors increasingly align themselves with rising stars whose influence extends beyond match results? And, perhaps most intriguingly, how will established players respond to the emergence of a new cultural force within the sport? These questions are not theoretical. They are being actively discussed in boardrooms, locker rooms, and media circles alike. Yet, despite the attention, Ella remains focused on her game. She trains with intensity, respects her coaches, and approaches each match with a balance of seriousness and enjoyment. It's this combination, dedication on the court paired with approachability off it, that seems to be driving her meteoric rise. Every practice, every interaction, every fan encounter is a chapter in a story that is still being written. But one thing is certain, the rise of Alex Eala is far from over, and the world is watching with rapt attention.